If you've been tuning into WWE television lately, you've likely noticed that Jade Cargill is an undeniable force. She's been making waves since her debut, and based on the breadcrumbs WWE has been dropping, her storm is about to become a full-blown hurricane. I'm thrilled about the direction they're teasing for her. And today, we're diving deep into the subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, clues WWE has laid out about what's next for Jade Cargill. I'll break down why this potential storyline has me buzzing with excitement for her future and what it could mean for the entire women's division. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this. Jade Cargill has been embroiled in a feud with Naomi since her return at the Elimination Chamber. The storyline kicked off with a mysterious attacker targeting Cargill, and it was later revealed that Naomi was behind it. There's also a lingering question about whether Bianca Belair, Cargill's former tag team partner, knew about Naomi's actions. This betrayal set the stage for Cargill's quest for revenge, which culminated in a high-profile match at WrestleMania. At the event, Cargill faced Naomi and came out on top, a decision I believe was a misstep by WWE, but more on that later. The feud has continued to simmer, with Cargill and Naomi still at odds, and recent episodes of SmackDown have added new layers to Cargill's trajectory that have me incredibly intrigued. Let's talk about the May 9th episode of Friday Night SmackDown, which took place in Dayton, Ohio. This was a night of surprises, with two major returns shaking things up. First, Alexa Bliss made her comeback as Zelina Vega's surprise opponent, a moment that had the crowd buzzing. Then, in the second hour, Charlotte Flair made her first appearance on WWE television since WrestleMania 41. Flair took to the ring for a promo, giving props to Tiffany Stratton for defeating her at WrestleMania 41 but quickly shifting the focus back to herself. She declared herself the greatest of all time in women's wrestling and announced her intention to pursue the women's championship once again. However, things took a turn when the crowd's reaction didn't sit well with her. Frustrated, Flair demanded respect and even threatened to walk out of Dayton if she didn't get it. She tossed the microphone and started to leave the ring, clearly agitated. That's when Jade Cargill made her entrance. And let me tell you, it was a moment, dressed to the nines, exuding star power, and sporting a cowboy hat. Cargill strutted down the ramp with an aura that screamed main event. As she passed Flair on her way to the ring, there was a palpable tension between them. Cargill didn't just walk by, she owned the moment. Once in the ring, she grabbed the mic and delivered a pointed jab, telling Flair to head back to the line. It was a bold move, a clear signal that Cargill wasn't intimidated by the veteran's presence. This interaction wasn't just a passing moment, it was the third time WWE has teased something between Cargill and Flair. And it's got me convinced that they're building towards something massive. Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture of where WWE is going with Jade Cargill. When she first arrived in the company, she was positioned as a tag team star alongside Bianca Belair. The duo was electric, but WWE wisely decided to split them up to let Cargill shine as a singles competitor. They thrust her into a significant program with Naomi, which led to her big win at WrestleMania. Following that, she was booked in a non-title match against the women's champion, Tiffany Stratton. In that match, Nia Jax's interference led to a no contest, a decision I think was deliberate to protect Cargill's momentum. WWE didn't want her to take a loss, but they also didn't want her to defeat the champion just yet. Instead, they kept her looking strong while keeping her in the orbit of the title picture. And then, on the following SmackDown, we got that charged moment with Charlotte Flair. These interactions with Flair are telling. This is the third time WWE has put Cargill and Flair in each other's paths, and it's no coincidence. It signals that WWE sees Cargill in the same stratosphere as Flair, a multi-time champion, a future Hall of Famer, and one of the biggest names in women's wrestling. They're positioning Cargill as a star of equal magnitude, someone who can stand toe-to-toe with the best. To me, this screams money. A feud between Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair has all the makings of a blockbuster. You've got Flair, the established veteran with a legacy that speaks for itself, and Cargill, the rising star who's being groomed to carry the company into the future. Whether she stays in WWE for the long haul or eventually ventures into Hollywood, as some speculate, Cargill is being set up as a top-tier talent for the next several years. WWE's commitment to Cargill is clear. Despite any debates about her booking or in-ring experience, they've never wavered in their vision for her. From her debut to her current storylines, she's consistently been presented as a top star. The fact that they're protecting her with no contests and carefully crafting her feuds shows they're playing the long game. And this potential rivalry with Flair? It's a goldmine. I'm not saying it's happening tomorrow, maybe it's 6 months from now, maybe a year, but WWE is laying the groundwork. They're planting seeds, creating moments that they can call back to when the time is right. This is something Triple H, as head of creative, excels at. He's a master at long-term storytelling, dropping subtle hints that pay off down the line, whether it's a backstage glance, a throwaway line, or a tense encounter like the one on May 9th. These moments build history between characters. When Cargill and Flair finally clash, WWE can pull up these clips and say, "See, this has been brewing for a while." This approach is what makes WWE's product so compelling right now. They reward attentive viewers by weaving intricate narratives that unfold over time. Think about how they've handled Cargill's mystery attacker angle or her interactions with Naomi and Belair. Even in backstage segments, WWE plants little details, maybe two stars exchange a look, or someone lingers in the background that hint at future developments. It's these nuances that make the storytelling feel rich and layered. The Cargill-Flair dynamic is just the latest example, and it's executed brilliantly. By having Cargill dismiss Flair with that mic drop moment, they're establishing her as a confident, fearless competitor who isn't afraid to challenge the establishment. It creates friction, animosity, and a foundation for a feud that could headline a major event. Now, let's circle back to the Naomi feud and why I think WWE made a mistake at WrestleMania. Don't get me wrong, Jade Cargill is the future, and her win was a statement, but Naomi has been phenomenal in this program. She's carried the storyline with her intensity and commitment, and I believe she deserved the victory at WrestleMania. It would have been a moment to reward her for her contributions while still keeping Cargill strong. A loss wouldn't have hurt Cargill's momentum. She's too big a star for that. Instead, it could have added depth to the feud, giving Naomi a defining win and setting up a more compelling rematch. That said, I don't think WWE should end this feud anytime soon. It's been one of the strongest stories in the women's division, and there's still plenty of mileage left. When they do revisit the Cargill-Naomi rivalry, I'd love to see Naomi get a win. Not to derail Cargill's push, but to give Naomi her due and keep the feud balanced. Cargill should ultimately come out on top in the long run. She's being built as a cornerstone of the division, but letting Naomi score a victory would add stakes and unpredictability. It's about storytelling, not just dominance. As for what's next, the women's division is in an exciting place, with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair back in the mix, and talents like Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax in the title picture. There's no shortage of possibilities. But Jade Cargill is the one to watch. Her interactions with Flair are a clear sign that WWE sees her as a main event player, and I'm all in for it. Whether it's a title chase, a blockbuster feud with Flair, or a continuation of her rivalry with Naomi, Cargill's future is bright. WWE is telling us, loud and clear, that she's here to stay at the top, and if they keep planting these seeds, her storm is going to shake the entire division to its core.